This is John Young with the Disc Jockey News. Today we're going to talk a little bit about the whole world of traveling to your event. Now, a lot of us are traveling, anywhere from 20 minutes to several hours to our different events. And we're going to talk about weddings specifically, but this applies to teen dances and bars, nightclubs, whatever you're doing, if there's travel involved. We're going to just look at vehicle travel today. There are some of you who travel around the country and you fly into events and there's different expenses and things with that. And if you're doing that level of show, I'm pretty sure you know what you're doing and you're handling that. But this question is something that comes up a lot from newer DJs, even some experienced DJs who really don't know how to charge for travel. So we're going to look at, there's 4 different ways we're going to look at it and a few things to think about before we get into that. So first off, when you're traveling, there's going to be costs involved with that. There's the government suggested mile rate. That is what they're basically figuring out that a vehicle costs for you to use to go to a location. But there's other costs involved with it. Like, first off, your time. Your time is not free. There's going to be food involved. Sometimes there's an overnight stay involved. Sometimes you're taking extra staff, and now you have expenses with them. There's a lot of different things, and this travel area is something that we sometimes overlook. But it's really a critical area where you can really lose a lot of money. As an example, if you have staff and you are having to travel 3 to 4 hours one way, you may be able to drive there and may be able to drive back. But if you have to spend a night, you're talking additional hotel rooms, you're talking additional food every time you have to buy them something, and they're probably going to want to be paid something per hour for their time. Let's just look at it from your perspective, though, as far as a single person for your situations and how you would deal with it. Let's start out with the 4 ways that and there's probably other ways to calculate travel, but these are the kind of 4 ways that most people do, is that they'll go and say, okay, what's your travel charge? Well, let's see, it is 50 miles there and 50 miles back. That's 100 miles. The rate for that, the government rate is $0.55 or 55 cents a mile. So you take your 100 miles times your 55 cents and you come up with your dollars. So you'd be $55 in travel for the event. That's the way the government says that you need to be charging, or that's what you can write off on your vehicles, and that's what it should cost you to use that vehicle to go there and back. It doesn't mean that you should be charging that, but that's, again, what they're giving you for a write-off deduction on using that vehicle, because that's what their estimate is that it costs to use it. That's a starting point. That's just the cost, their idea of what the cost of the vehicle. Some people will charge one way, which I think is completely silly. If you're going to charge, you're going to charge for the miles you're putting on your vehicle, not just charging one way. Or you could make it that instead of doing the mileage thing, maybe you do a flat fee. I've seen some DJs who will make a circle, 1 hour circle from their office and a 2 hour circle. And then they'll go and they'll say, okay, so 1 hour circle is the edge of that is 50 miles away. That's 100 miles, and 100 miles is $55. So anything within that is going to be a flat fee of $60, whatever. Or they might have it the first hour's free, and then they build that into their cost. That's completely acceptable. The thing is, it's an expense. You need to figure out how you're going to cover that. So we have straight miles, sometimes the concentric circles. Then there's some people who just do a flat fee. Travel is this. It doesn't matter if it's an hour away. It doesn't matter if it's 4 hours away. It's $100 travel. If it's an hour or more away, 1 hour, 4 hours, it's $100 travel. Well, obviously, the people who are paying the $100 at 1 hour away are overpaying, and the people who are 4 hours away are getting a great deal. And is that something you really want to be doing? What happens if I'm 5 or 6 hours away and you have to spend the night in a hotel room? If you don't have that figured out so you can be compensated for that, you're the one who's going to lose out. And then the ones I really enjoy are the ones that, now if you build it into your price, that's one thing. So let's say my regular price is $1,500 and this is a really extensive gig. I've got to get a hotel room for the night, and for this one I'm charging $2,000. Well, now I have $5,000 that's into my travel and over. That's acceptable. But there's the people who are out there that are charging $1,000 for their show, and it's going to be 7 hours away, and they are doing free travel, and they're not taking account for that travel. So now that money is coming off the cost of them producing that particular show. So if it's going to be that far away, you might be looking at fuel costs and vehicle expenses and things, that there's $200 in vehicle expenses, plus the hotel room that I'm meant to get for the night, plus all the meals. And then, there's this thing called time. Your time in the vehicle, while you might be able to do a little bit of other stuff, is incredibly valuable to you. If you're away from your office driving, I can't answer calls and do things on a computer and such when I'm driving. Yeah, it's kind of nice sometimes to go listen to an audiobook or a podcast, what have you, but your time still has value, even if that's just $10 an hour. If it's an hour there, an hour back, I've got my vehicle costs that the government's helped me figure out, and then I should be compensated. And really, everyone who's traveling with me should be compensated for their time because they could be doing anything else but traveling to this event, and this is part of it. That doesn't mean that you have to charge the clients that. It could be something that you build into your price, which is what I would highly recommend. Because most of the time when you're talking travel, if you say, okay, here's our office is here, and it's X number of miles there, X number of miles back. Government says for my vehicle, I should be charging this. If you're doing that, and then you're compensating yourself for your time inside the price of the event. So let's say that, okay, I know that I'm going to have all this time and extra things that, okay, so my show is going to probably be another $200 higher because of the travel to get there. And then you can kind of light it up and say, and the vehicle cost to get there and back is this. That's acceptable, and a lot of people will not have a problem with that. It's the times where a person goes and you do these things, and I've had this where I've heard people say that, wow, this guy's coming all the way up from Fargo down to our neck of the woods, which is a 3-hour drive, and they're not charging me travel. And it's like, oh, wow. So, and then that's okay if they're building it in. And they're charging me this much, and it's the same rate that they charge in downtown Fargo for an event. So people hear this, they start to wonder what's going on. You've got to really kind of figure out your business plan, where you need to be, and how you're going to put these things in to really make it so that you're not getting hosed on this whole travel situation. If this is your first time of checking out one of our videos, hey, down below is our Tuesday tip link. That's the playlist of all of our tips that we release on Tuesdays. Go down there, click on that, check that out. And below that, there's this new thing called the DJ and TV Insider Area. That Insider Area is a spot where you can go down and become a partner with us here at Disc Jockey News and Disc Jockey News TV to help bring content like this to the DJ industry on a weekly basis, heck, a nightly basis. But if you can go down there, click on that DJ and TV Insider link down below and check it out. And if it's something you'd like to do to get on and become an insider, we've got a lot of great content that's members only. I think you'd really find helpful in your business. Once again, this is John Young with the Disc Jockey News and Disc Jockey News TV. Thanks for watching.